All right, y'all. So the next element that we're going to be talking about is going to be water. This is one of my favorite ones. I love water. I'm also a water sign for my zodiac. When we think about water, automatically we're linking that to purification, right? We think about water, water is very cleansing and very powerful. One of the first things that we oftentimes do when we're starting our day, or one of the things that we do when we're ending our day, is we shower, right? We shower. Some of us take baths. Some people, if they're blessed enough, they live by a river or by a waterfall, they jump in the river or the waterfall. But one of the things that this does is that ultimately it cleanses you on the physical level, right? If you have dirt on your body, you're able to release that. But also, too, another element that this is tied into a lot of indigenous cultures in different parts of the world is that people realize that water also cleanses you on a spiritual level as well. Many cultures, especially in indigenous African countries, indigenous Americas, and indigenous Asian parts of the world, bathing is considered a sacred art and spiritual practice that provides spiritual cleansing on the spiritual level as well. So people work with different herbs and different aspects to cleanse them in that way. Another element, you guys, when we look at water, is going to be renewal, right? When we are looking at bringing in new things into our life, we're looking at having that water element come in, which brings in life. We think about our bodies, they are 98% water. We cannot survive without water. So we think about that aspect and how it's constantly giving, how it's constantly providing. If we want a seed to grow right that we've planted, what do? We got to water it to let it grow, right? As it's growing, it's sprouting roots, it's expanding. So this is another thing that's really amazing about water. Another aspect too is that water is governed with our emotions. So oftentimes when we think about emotions, if they're in flow in a healthy way, right? We're able to express ourselves, we're able to speak our mind. If something's bothering us, we're able to voice it out. But if we have too much water, we may see that people in our lives, they can be too emotional, right? They may not be able to express themselves. They may break down or they may panic or have anxiety attacks. So we got to keep that water in balance. One of the greatest ways is hydration. When we want to look at a spiritual level is also doing our spiritual practices, whether it's prayer, whether it's spiritual baths, whether it's cleansing in different ways, utilizing water, keeping our house clean with it, mopping, all those different things. And another way too is to ensure that we are taking care of ourselves. So on that emotional side, speaking your mind, right? If something's bothering you, voicing it out. Okay, so water is something that I love. It's an element that's very powerful. When we look at the earth, water, it is able to nourish the environment around us. So we notice that it keeps the trees green, it keeps the flowers and the plants growing. But if there isn't water, we see that there may be droughts that take place. We see that the environment, the air becomes stale. So water balances all the other elements as well when we think about it. And it's a very powerful element to take into consideration. If you guys made it to the end, drop the word water. Many blessings.